What's up guys, welcome back to yet another Hack the Box tutorial, and in this video we'll be exploiting Arctic. Arctic is a machine from Hack the Box, which is a penetration testing IT security site that gives us vulnerable machine. And this machine is one of the ones that's suggested for those who want to go for the OSCP, and it's a Windows machine. As you can see, it's an easy one, and our IP address is 10.10.10.11. so we're going to exploit this machine in the hopes that the skills that we're practicing will help us with the OSCP. So without wasting time guys, let's go ahead and find out what this machine is doing. We'll fire up our Kali Linux. Okay, we're in. I already created our Arctic directory, and right now the first thing that we need to do is let's ping our machine to make sure that we have connectivity. And as you can see, we're getting responses from the machine, so we just jump in right away into running our nmap script. And to do that, let's go ahead and run our nmap one more time here. And what we're doing is I'm just running using the default scripts, finding, probing for open ports and system versions, and outputting to a folder called nmap. Let me name this one because I already have one. I already ran this, as you'll see in a minute. So this will run for a few minutes, but after it's done running, this is what you'll see. These are the results, and as you can see, we see that we have port 135, pretty unusual port is this one, 8500, and it is a question mark here, FMTP. So that definitely makes me very curious. So what we would do is fire up our browser and go to that port and see what's going on with our machine. So once we fire up our browser, let's go ahead and do 10.10.10.11. It's 8500. Let's see what's going on there. Yep, 8500. So it's taking a little bit. So after 30 seconds or so, we get these two files. Interesting. Let's open the first one. And this seems to be a little slow for whatever reason, but we still see few directories in here. I did open a bunch of these earlier, but to save you time, the most interesting one is this administrator one. So let's open that. That's another 15, 20, 30 seconds. All right, so looks like we have a page, and the username is already hard-coded for whatever reason. As you can see, still loading there, but we get Adobe ColdFusion. Okay, I do this because I always have to, but as you can see, nothing interesting there. Adobe ColdFusion, like we found out earlier. So let's copy that name. So it's admin. Usually we try admin, see what happens here. Let's do not save. So as you can see, this is where we're going. All right, while that is running, let's look up Adobe ColdFusion exploits here. Okay, this is interesting. It's for 2010. Let me look back in my nmap here, see if I have any version numbers. I don't. Does this tell me which version? Oh yeah, Adobe ColdFusion 8 here. So let's add 8. Reverse shell exploit. That's a hint in the future. But if we do exploits, directory transversal, and we have another document here, so we know this one should work. I've done a few of these, and you know that directory transversal is something that I've used and I actually like. So with directory transversal, usually we try the first option that they give us. So enter. So let's try this and see if we can get the password that they're talking about. Okay, so comparing what we have here, we're getting to administrator, enter.cfm, and here. So we have all the way up to here without the question marks. So we just copy that to make sure that it matches what they have. And I just come here and paste it. That looks like what they have there. Let's see if this works. Okay, so it looks like it did work after a few seconds, and password goes to this. Okay, can be that easy where passwords are just given, and apparently this is encrypted. So whatever this thing is, what I like to do is I don't need to think about this, throw it in Google and remove the encrypted equals to true. We'll see what this hash is. Google should pick it up. As you can see, SHA, and there we go. My password is happy day. It's that simple. So yeah, it decrypted on all these. So let's go back and let's leave that. My password is happy day. Log in. Okay, let's try that one more time. Maybe I had a space. All right, so looks like we are in. This machine, like I said earlier, is very slow. So to save your time, you kind of have to look around, enumerate. And for me, the most interesting was in the debugging and logging. As you can see, got log files, look in there. But if you look into scheduled tasks, let's wait another 30 seconds. All right, so it looks like we can upload a new task here. So let's do a scheduled task. Okay, while that is working, let's see. Schedule a new task. Okay, while that is working, I did some reading on ColdFusion, and one of the greatest blog posts that I found about attacking ColdFusion was this one, and we can just go through it quickly here. So we can upload a scheduled task here, and as you can see, we can put a URL. That means we can host our payload, name the task whatever we want, and put a location here. And according to this attacking Adobe ColdFusion blog post that I did, because I didn't know much about Adobe, there is all the goodies about different version of ColdFusion, and this is the directory local file inclusion that we did earlier. For ours it was this, and then right down here they talk about uploading CFM shell, and what this does is we can upload a shell using the task scheduler, like you can see here, and we can upload this. So if I can upload this through my scheduled task here, I should be able to actually end up with something that looks like this, where I can run a few commands. So let's do this part right now. Okay, the first thing that we need to do is get this to our Kali machine, and let's open a new tab, and let's just put it in here, clear that, zoom in a little bit, then let me just VI, that's the name that I want to name it, CFM, and it looks like this is hard coded, so the name kind of has to match. And once it's done here, let's do an insert, go back here and copy that, then come back here, file, edit, paste, and make sure that it's in there perfectly fine. Doesn't look like we need to change anything in here. Escape, right quit. Then from here, let's start our Python HTTP server. All right, so this is how I'm going to deliver my payload all the way to the machine. And to do that, let's go back to our scheduled task. And the name of this task, let's just name it backdoor. All right, and from here we just want to run HTTP 10.10.14.33. That's the URL of my Kali slash, and the name that we named it, we want to make sure that it's exactly the same way. All right. And going back here, this should also tell us. All right. Looks like we also have to put it, I don't know if you can tell, but in this specific directory here, C init pub ww, whatever that is. But in this case, we'll be putting ours in C ColdFusion 8 ww root and the whole link. So let's go back here. Okay, so this will be the default path where the ColdFusion will be, and we want to name it the same way that we did earlier. So, and paste, then we hit submit, and if going back to our server here, we should see that coming. Okay, we did a submit. Oh, I'm forgetting that this thing takes a while. Let's try that one more time. Okay, let's check it out. Not yet. I might have to run this task here. All right, a few seconds later, there's nothing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back. One of these actions should be run scheduled task. Yep, that's the first one. So let's run it. All right, as you can see right here, our task completed. This was just me testing, make sure that my HTTP server is working by visiting it here, and that's why I saw that. But our scheduled task worked, completed successfully. So what this means is, if I go to that URL on the site, which I can show you right now, I should see my little shell, web shell here, which might take a few seconds again. All right, so it looks like our remote code execution works, so that is not a problem. So let's try this command, see if it works. And guys, if this works, I like a normal shell, so I will be firing MSF Venom in a minute here. Put my shell in there the same way and see what happens. Let's execute that. All right, so it looks like I got an error, whatever this means. I tried to execute this command, so let's try my MSF Venom. But this was a good proof of concept that I can execute my ColdFusion here. So let's start a new task, and at the same time, come on, give me a new scheduled task. Okay, it will take a few seconds. Then from there, in Kali, I'm going to open a new tab, If I do an ls on my home here, zoom in a little bit, I think I already have a shell. That's a PowerShell and a shell.bat. No, let me generate a new shell here quickly. Reverse shell, and this one will be a JSP. So I have my MS Venom here. All right, so this is my MSM Venom, and I'm running that reverse shell to my computer on port 443. I'm naming it shell.jsp. Shouldn't conflict with any of those, so I do an enter. MSF Venom would create my shell.jsp. Then here, my new task, I'm going to name it shell. Same deal, 10.10.14.33. I'll be getting shell.jsp, and here we want to go to our home directory, but it's going to be a shell.jsp. Okay, everything looks good. Make sure there's no space there. So that's what I will be doing. Let's check to see if it's done. Yes, it's done. If I do a less shell.jsp, just to see what's in there. Nothing fancy really. It's just my shell is phoning home on 443. Okay, quit. So if we go back here, we do the same thing. We submit and wait. I noticed something. I forgot to check this publish button, so I will do that right now. Hopefully that works. Then I'm still serving my HTTP server here, so I can go and check it. Make sure that my shell.jsp should be down here. If I refresh, sure enough it's there. So I'm serving it through HTTP, and over here I'm waiting for it to come up, but I might have to go back here and do the same deal. Run scheduled task. It should say task completed successfully, and I should see it down here. All right guys, there we go. We did get our shell.jsp, as you can see, completed successfully. So the next thing is, let's listen on Netcat and grab our shell. A new tab, you zoom in. So we're going to say Netcat negative LVNP. We're listening on 443. Then to trigger our shell, just like what we did earlier, we just go to the location, the full URL. So this time it will be shell.jsp and enter. And we are listening. Let's drag that down and see if we get our shell back. It's that simple, hopefully. all right, we are in. So that is good. That is really good. So I can do a who am I already, Arctic. So that's the same as the host name, I'm assuming. All right, so that doesn't help us. We can go and find the user.txt here, but as you know, my goal is to learn for the OSCP and not really to grab this HackTheBox flags, but you can CD around in here to the desktop and find the flag. That's not my main thing. So let's go ahead and move on to privilege escalation. And the first thing is, let's just do a system info. Hope this thing can talk. Yes, it looks like it does talk. As you can see guys, we got all kinds of information. We do not have any hot fixes, so that means that if I look up the version of this machine and if there's any vulnerabilities, it's worth pursuing them. And OS version is 6.1, Windows Server 2008 R2. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to look up Windows Server 2008 R2 and see if there's any privilege escalation vulnerabilities. Even if there are, we shall pursue those because there are no updates or fixes for this machine. So we are done with you. Windows Server 2008, and I paste the and do preview escalation. Google, tell me local privilege escalation. I'm seeing a bunch. Apache 17. I like this one. I've had better success with Apache 17. So what are we talking about here? Privilege escalation, MS046, and our version is there, and it explains the vulnerability here. Okay, so let's try this one. And looks like we're in luck. We can even run this guy. So let's download that. I like to download the exe and just throw it on the machine and see what happens. Ideally, I would like to go and do this manually, but this one looks like it will be easy. So let's copy that to my home directory and paste it in here. ms11.046.exe. So that's good. Let's get that one to my computer. All right. So it looks like since we have a shell here, we can call our exploit. As you can see, this is the name that I'm hosting from my home directory. I just downloaded it. It's an executable one, and that's the name that is downloading it. I'm saving it as that in this location. I'm calling PowerShell to do that for me. Let's see if that works. All right, so while that is running, I like to check. All right, so we got shell and we did run our who am I and all that stuff. I lost my shell, so I'm back again. But if we do a dir in here, as you can see, I already have my two exploits, exes, that I showed you earlier. But this one I tried, it didn't work, and this is the one that I'm going to try right now, see if it works. And to make it work, I just have to run it and have it phone home. Let me just show you. So this is what I'm going to do. I haven't tried this, so hopefully it works. To get my exploit, which is MS59, I'm going to get it through PowerShell. So this is just a variable URL file web client. I'm downloading it. While downloading it, I'll bring it as payload.ps1. Then from there, I'm going to run the execution policy to bypass, because I think my problem was I was just running an executable, but I'm not administrator, and most Windows machines will not allow normal people to run executables. So that's why we are going to be doing it this way, where we will echo web client, which is pretty much the payload.ps1. Then from here we'll get our exe as payload, and then the file should be explosive.exe, because I like to call it explosive. So let's go ahead and do this. Hopefully this time it will work. It has been almost 45 minutes and I'm getting a little impatient. Okay, so that works. So I'm just going to copy and paste the rest of them. Windows privilege escalation is definitely interesting. So this is where we do the download. We're calling the URL and file. Okay, and let's just complete the whole sequence here. Then let's run our PowerShell bypass. See if we can bypass execution policy. That's the most interesting one. And in fact, it worked. Check it out, guys. It worked. Unbelievable. So let's just wait for this to be done. Actually, maybe it's already done. Yes, it's done. So if I do my dir, do I have, yes guys, I have my explosive.exe. Oh, this is awesome. So now I just need to do explosive.exe. So this one I need to do. I need to call my explosive.exe, and from there I want it to phone home 10.10.10 .14.33, and I want it to phone home on port 4444. Right, copy that. But before we do that, we want to start our Netcat on 4444 to listen, and then we go back and run our explosive payload, and hopefully we'll be able to bypass it. So the trick was in compiling it this way so we can have execution policy to bypass. And let's go back. We're still listening. Let's hope this one works, guys, because it has been a struggle with this machine. Alright guys, so after a few tries and failed attempts to get shell here, we are going to try. I found out that this one is what actually works. It's the same as the one that we were looking at here, but 1059, but for whatever reason that one doesn't work. So I'm going to try this one one more time. Let's download that, save file. Let's go to my downloads. Where did it go? Over here. I'll copy that. I'm running my server on here. So now, going back to my notes, let's just do a quick adjustment here. We want that name all right. That's the only thing that I need to change here. I like to name this bomb. No. What is another interesting one? root.exe. All right. So let's run this one more time, and hopefully we can end up with a root.exe file. Actually, I'll name this one payload 1, payload 1, payload 1, payload 1, and payload 1. So this is what I need. Do it one more time, guys. Windows privilege escalation. I'm almost signing up for my exam because of this. I can't wait to see. I mean, I'm almost signing up for the course because I want to see how this actually works, because I've been struggling with Windows. It's not even funny. but from what I hear, we need to run Windows. We need to understand Windows for this to work. Otherwise, people, almost everyone who fails, they say Windows got them. So we are going to spend more time on this, and this little script here is part of my portfolio of little scripts that I run. So now if I run that, should end up with payload 1, and let's see, check my, I always like to check. Well, you see that we got him at 200. So if I do it there, do I have my root here? Root.exe. Okay, so now let's try it one more time. So the only thing that we're going to change is the name. Root.exe, phoning to my computer on port 444. So let's listen. LVNP on port 4444. We are listening for a remote connection. Maybe it's my port. All right. That was my third attempt, guys, and it looks like it worked this time. So who am I? And system authority. If this happens in the exam, I'll be happy. So that was it, guys. A Windows machine with privilege escalation and me struggling to get it done. The goal is to keep practicing. So if you like my videos, make sure to like and subscribe. I'll be doing more of these, and I'm hoping to gain speed, be able to develop my own exploits. Just last night I learned that I need to compile my own code and make sure that the architecture matches, because the public available code sometimes doesn't match what you're running. Say 64-bit compared to 32-bit version of .NET. Sometimes if it's different from the exploit and you are not paying attention. So subscribe. I'll be doing a lot more of these, and if you have any suggestions, leave them in the comments. Otherwise, that's it, guys. See you later.